Salmon Podcast มันสดอร่อย Listening Fresh
Terms and Condition ASMR Apple Software License Agreement for macOS Sonoma for use on Apple branded systems. Please read the software license agreement license carefully before using the Apple software. By using the Apple software, you are agreeing to be bound by the terms of this license. If you do not agree to the terms of this license, do not install and/or use the Apple software. And if presented with the option to agree or disagree to the terms, click Disagree. If you acquire the Apple software as part of an Apple hardware purchase, and if you do not agree to the terms of this license, you may return the entire Apple hardware software package within the return period to the Apple Store or authorized distributor where you obtain it for a refund, subject to Apple's return policy found at www.apple.com. You must return the entire hardware software package in order to obtain a refund. Important note: to the extent that this software may be used to reproduce, modify, publish, or distribute materials, it is licensed to you only for reproduction, modification, publication, and distribution of non-copyright materials. Materials in which you own the copyright or materials you are authorized or legally permitted to reproduce, modify, publish, or distribute. If you are uncertain about your right to copy, modify, publish, or distribute any material, you should contact your legal advisor. First, general. The Apple software, including boot ROM code, any third-party software, documentation, interfaces, content, fonts, and any data accompanying this license, original Apple software, as may be updated or replaced by feature enhancements, software updates, security responses, system files, or system restore software provided by Apple for your Apple branded computer or supported peripheral device. Apple software changes, whether pre-installed on Apple branded hardware, on internal storage, on removable media, on disk, in read-only memory, on any other media, or in any other form. The original Apple software and Apple software changes are collectively referred to as the Apple software. A license not sold to you by Apple Inc. Apple for use only under the terms of this license. Apple and/or Apple's licensors retain ownership of the Apple software itself and reserve all rights not expressly granted to you. You agree that the terms of this license will apply to any Apple-branded application software product that may be pre-installed on your Apple-branded hardware, unless such product is accompanied by a separate license, in which case you agree that the terms of that license will govern your use of that product. B. Apple. At this discretion, may make available future Apple software changes. Apple software changes, if any, may not necessarily include all existing software features or new features that Apple release for newer or other models of Apple-branded computers. The terms of this license will govern any Apple software changes provided by Apple, unless such Apple software changes are accompanied by a separate license, in which case the terms of that license will govern. C. Title and intellectual property rights in and to any content displayed by or accessed through the Apple software belong to the respective content owner. Such content may be protected by copyright or other intellectual property laws and treaties, and may be subject to terms of use of the third party providing such content, except as otherwise provided herein. This license does not grant you any rights to use such content, nor does it guarantee that such content will continue to be available to you. You are prohibited from republishing, retransmitting, or reproducing any image accessed through news or maps as a standalone file. โกแก่ plus salted and roasted cashew nuts เมล็ดมะม่วงหิมพานต์อบเกลือ selected quality น้ำหนักสุทธิ85 กรัมคุณค่าทางโภชนาการต่อ1 ซองควรแบ่งกินประมาณ3 ครั้งพลังงาน540 กิโลแคลอรี่น้ำตาล6 กรัมไขมัน42 กรัมโซเดียม210 มิลลิกรัมส่วนประกอบโดยประมาณเมล็ดมะม่วงหิมพานต์ 95% น้ำมันปาล์ม 3% แป้งสาลี 1% เกลือบริโภคเสริมไอโอดีน 1% สารป้องกันการเกิดออกซิเดชัน INS 319 สารช่วยให้ฟู INS 500 แต่งกลิ่นสังเคราะห์ก๊าซที่ช่วยในการเก็บรักษาอาหาร INS 941 ข้อมูลสำหรับผู้แพ้อาหารมีถั่วเปลือกแข็ง tree nuts และแป้งสาลี Ingredients cashew nuts 95% palm oil 3% wheat flour 1% iodized salt 1% antioxidant INS 319 raising agent INS 500 artificial odor added packaging gas INS 941 contains cashew nuts tree nuts with gluten product of Thailand บริโภคแต่น้อยและออกกำลังกายเพื่อสุขภาพผลิตและจัดจำหน่ายโดยบริษัทโรงงานแม่รวยจำกัดสำนักงานใหญ่เลขที่ 11/1 11/2 ถนนบางขุนเทียนชายทะเลแขวงแสมดำเขตบางขุนเทียนกรุงเทพ10150ข้อมูลโภชนาการ Nutrition Facts 1 หน่วยบริโภค1/3 ซอง30 กรัมจำนวนหน่วยบริโภคต่อซองประมาณ3คุณค่าทางโภชนาการต่อ1หน่วยบริโภคพลังงานทั้งหมด180 กิโลแคลอรี่พลังงานจากไขมัน130 กิโลแคลอรี่ร้อยละของปริมาณที่แนะนำต่อวันไขมันทั้งหมด14 กรัมไขมันอิ่มตัว3 กรัมกรดไขมันไม่อิ่มตัวรูทรานส์0 กรัมคอเลสเตอรอล0 มิลลิกรัมโปรตีน6 กรัมคาร์โบไฮเดรตทั้งหมด8 กรัมใยอาหาร1 กรัมน้ำตาล2 กรัมโซเดียม70 มิลลิกรัมร้อยละของปริมาณที่แนะนำต่อวันวิตามิน A 0% วิตามิน B B2 4% เหล็ก 10% วิตามิน B1 8% แคลเซียม 0% วิตามินดี 0%ร้อยละของปริมาณสารอาหารที่แนะนำให้บริโภคต่อวันสำหรับคนไทยอายุตั้งแต่6ปีขึ้นไปโดยคิดจากความต้องการพลังงานวันละ 2,000 กิโลแคลอรี่ความต้องการพลังงานของแต่ละบุคคลแตกต่างกันผู้ที่ต้องการพลังงานวันละ 2,000 กิโลแคลอรี่ควรได้รับสารอาหารต่างๆดังนี้ไขมันทั้งหมดน้อยกว่า65กรัมไขมันอิ่มตัวน้อยกว่า20กรัมคอเลสเตอรอลน้อยกว่า300มิลลิกรัมคาร์โบไฮเดรตทั้งหมด300กรัมใยอาหาร25กรัมโซเดียมน้อยกว่า 2,000 มิลลิกรัมพลังงานกิโลแคลอรี่ต่อกรัมเทียบเป็นสัดส่วนกับไขมันเท่ากับ9โปรตีนเท่ากับ4คาร์โบไฮเดรตเท่ากับ4 Second, permitted license use and restrictions. A. Pre-install and single copy Apple software license. Subject to the terms and conditions of this license, unless you obtain the Apple software from the Mac App Store through an automatic download or under a volume license, maintenance, or other written agreement from Apple. You are granted a limited, non-exclusive license to install, use, and run 1. Copy of the Apple software on a single Apple-branded computer at any one time. For example, these single copy license terms apply to you if you obtained the Apple software pre-installed on Apple-branded hardware. B. Mac App Store license. If you obtain a license for the Apple software from the Mac App Store or through an automatic download, then subject to the terms and conditions of this license and as permitted by the services and content usage rules set forth in the Apple Media Services terms and conditions. www.apple.com Usage rules. You are granted a limited, non-transferable, non-exclusive license. To download, install, use, and run for personal, non-commercial use, 1 copy of the Apple software directly on each Apple-branded computer running macOS Ventura, macOS Monterey, macOS Big Sur, macOS Catalina, macOS Mojave, or macOS High Sierra, Mac computer that you own or control. If you are a commercial enterprise or educational institution, to download, install, use, and run 1 copy of the Apple software for use either A. By a single individual on each of the Mac computers that you own or control, or B. By multiple individuals on a single shared Mac computer that you own or control. For example, a single employee may use the Apple software on both the employee's desktop Mac computer, a laptop Mac computer, or multiple students may serially use the Apple software on a single Mac computer located at a resource center or library. And to install, use, and run up to 2 additional copies or instances of the Apple software or any prior macOS or OS X operating system software or subsequent release of the Apple software within virtual operating system environments on each Apple-branded computer you own or control that is already running the Apple software for purposes of a software development. B. Testing during software development. C. Using macOS server. Or D. Personal non-commercial use. Except as expressly permitted in Section 3. The grant set forth in Section 2B III above does not permit you to use the virtualized copies or instances of the Apple software in connection with service bureau, time sharing, terminal sharing, or other similar types of services, except as expressly permitted in this Section 2B. You may not use the Apple software to run any Apple operating system software, including iOS, iPadOS, watchOS, or tvOS, in virtual operating system environments on Mac computers. C. Volume or maintenance license. If you obtained the Apple software under a volume or maintenance license program with Apple, the terms of your volume or maintenance license will determine the number of copies of the Apple software you are permitted to download, install, use, and run on Apple-branded computers you own or control, except as agreed to in writing by Apple. All other terms and conditions of this license shall apply to your use of the Apple software obtained under a volume or maintenance license. D. System requirements. Apple ID. Please note that the Apple software is supported on only Apple-branded hardware that meets specified system requirements as indicated by Apple. In addition, use of and access to certain features of the Apple software and certain services as defined in Section 6 may require you to apply for a unique username and password combination known as an Apple ID. Hershey's Creamy Milk Chocolate with Whole Almonds น้ำหนักสุทธิ40 กรัมส่วนประกอบที่สำคัญโดยประมาณน้ำตาล 32%อัลมอนด์ 15% นมผงขาดมันเนย 15% โกโก้แมส 14% ไขมันโกโก้ 11% วัตถุเจือปนอาหาร INS 322I INS 476 แต่งกลิ่นสังเคราะห์ข้อมูลสำหรับผู้แพ้อาหารมีนมผลิตภัณฑ์จากนมเฮซิตินจากถั่วเหลืองอัลมอนด์และอาจมีถั่วที่มีเปลือกแข็งอื่นข้าวสาลีผู้ผลิต Hershey Malaysia SDN BHD ประเทศมาเลเซียผู้นำเข้าและจัดจำหน่ายบริษัท Sino Pacific Trading Thailand จำกัด 122/2/3 ถนนนนทรีย์แขวงช่องนนทรีย์เขตยานาวากรุงเทพ10120E. Fonts. Subject to the terms and conditions of this license, you may use the fonts included with the Apple software to display and print content while running the Apple software. However, you may only embed fonts in content if that is permitted by the embedding restriction accompanying the font in question. These embedding restrictions can be found in the font book preview Show Font into Panel. F. Voice Live Captions. Subject to the terms and conditions of this license, you may use the system voices included in the Apple software. System voices 1. While running the Apple software, and 2. To create your own original content and projects for your personal, non-commercial use. Use the live captions automatically generated on device in real time by the Apple software. Live captions, whether generated during a FaceTime call or otherwise, only for your personal, non-commercial use. And use the personal voice feature to create a voice on device that sounds like you. Personal voice. Using your own personal voice for your personal, non-commercial use. No other creation or use of the system voices, live captions, or personal voice is permitted by this license, including but not limited to the use, reproduction, display, performance, recording, publishing, or redistribution of any of the system voices, live captions, or personal voice in a profit, non-profit, public sharing, or commercial context. G. Photos, app features, and support. The Photos application of the Apple software, Photos app, may not support some video and photo formats. Use of some features of the Photos app will depend on the features of your camera. Synchronizing photos with the Photos app in any Apple or third-party services may result in loss of data. The slideshow graphics, music, and themes included with the Photos app are only for personal, non-commercial use in slideshows you create using the Photos app. You may not use, extract, or distribute commercially or otherwise, or on a standalone basis, any photograph, image, graphics, artwork, audio, video, or similar assets. Digital materials contained within or provided as a part of the Photo app, or otherwise use the digital materials outside the context of its intended use as part of the Photo app. And this is the first ASMR podcast by Salmon Podcast. See you next time.